Hey broomheads, it's that time again. We're gonna watch another Degrassi episode. This one was requested by Magik 2.0. So what we're gonna watch today is Home Sweet Home, an episode from Degrassi High. For all y'all Wheels fans out there, get ready. That's enough for the intro. Let's just get on into it. All right, so it's a weekday morning in the Jeremiah household, and we see Wheels helping himself to some fruit from the fruit bowl, you know, making himself at home in the kitchen, and Joey is like, we're gonna be late, come on, let's go. And he runs out the door, and Wheels is like, I'll be there in a second. And it's really unfortunate, but Wheels hollers, bye Mrs. J, and goes into her purse and starts pulling some money out of her wallet. And I never realized that it's just change. Like, it's like $1 in change. But I guess that's still bad. So for those of you who don't remember where we're at right now, Wheels is living with Joey because his grandparents kicked him out. He's living with his grandparents, of course, because his real parents are dead. So, out of the goodness of their hearts, the Jeremiahs have let Wheels stay with them indefinitely. And now this is what he's doing, stealing change. I must say, his mullet is looking fantastic. So here we are in the halls of Degrassi. Wheels is at his locker, and Joey comes up to get into his locker, and Wheels is like, hey Joey, do you want to go play some video games after school? And Joey's like, no, I have to do homework, and Wheels is like, boring. And then Joey realizes that Wheels is wearing Joey's watch, and he's like, hey man, isn't that my watch? And Wheels is like, yeah, I'm borrowing it. You know, it's a little weird. He's kind of just borrowing things without asking. And now Snake appears, and how cool is it that they all have lockers right next to each other? Snake is wearing this crazy shirt with pencils all over it, and his hair is, it's weird. It's weird, but it's cool. I'm into it. You do you, Snake. So Wheels invites Snake to go play video games, and Snake's like, I have homework. And Wheels is just disappointed in his friends and their dedication to school, I guess. So Wheels is like, all right, I'm gonna go. I'll see you at home, Joey. And Joey's clearly like a little tired of Wheels always being around. So then Joey starts to talk to Snake about all the things that are annoying him lately about Wheels living with them, and that he's calling Joey's house home. He's taking Joey's stuff, he snores. But of course he feels like he can't just kick Wheels out because they're friends. Now we're at the library, and Liz's sour face is finding a book or something. Of course only talking to Spike, because that's the only human she speaks to. But that's not who we're here for. It turns out we are here at the library to check in on Michelle. And Michelle is studying with her babe of a best friend, Alexa. And Michelle starts talking about how she really needs to do well on this test, and she is unable to study at home because it's too loud. And I feel like I have to fill you guys in a little bit in case you forgot why we're here. Michelle lives on her own now. She moved out of her dad's house, and she rents a room in a house that she shares with some other girls who do not respect Michelle's need to study. You know, Alexa's like, maybe you should find a new place to live. And Michelle's like, I can't. This is the absolute cheapest option, and it's the only thing I can afford. A lot of people like Michelle's storyline of her going to live on her own. And obviously, as you can see, it's super duper hard, but it's still kind of like glamorous and romantic in its own special way. She's just like so grown up, but still has to do a lot of the same things that we have to do. Us regular kids have to do. Michelle says she avoids the kitchen in the house because it's filthy. That's so funny. That's kind of how I feel about my work kitchen. All right, we are back at the Jeremiah house, and Joey's mom is looking at the bills, running some numbers, and she has a very concerned look on her face. I feel your pain, Mom. And Joey walks in, you know, he's like, hey, Mom, and Mrs. Jeremiah is like, Joey, we need to talk. How long is Wheels gonna be staying here? He's been here for a month. And Joey's like, I don't know, Mom. And Joey's mom says that it's been really draining to keep Wheels at the house, and she has reached out to Wheels' grandmother, and Wheels' grandmother has agreed to let Wheels come back and live with them. And Joey's like, no, he hates his grandma. And then she gets to the real point, is that some money has been disappearing from her purse. And Joey's like, it couldn't be Wheels. Wheels doesn't steal. But Joey's mom is not convinced that it's not Wheels. So Joey's like, fine, I'll talk to Wheels. And his mom's like, well, regardless, he has to leave soon. I don't really blame her, especially since he can go back to his home, you know? So we're back at the school. I think it's the next day. I'm just seeing Arthur walk by, and he is huge. Like, he's a large person. I wonder how tall he is in real life. Joey pulls up, driving Wheels to school. They're listening to Brush, some loud rock and roll. And Joey parks the car, and before Wheels gets out of the car, Joey just comes straight out with it and says, did you take money from my mom's purse? And Wheels is like, no, man, no. I love Wheels, and I feel like most of us do, but sometimes his behavior is kind of hard to relate to and hard to understand his motivations. And I know he's just a troubled boy, but it's petty. It's petty stealing. It's petty theft. Like, why are you going to steal a few dollars from someone who's letting you stay at their house for free? Wheels is very illogical sometimes. But anyway, Joey's like, if you're borrowing the money or something, like, that's okay, just tell me. And Wheels still insists that he did not. But we know he did because we just saw it. Okay, we are back in the library, aka the resource center, and Michelle is studying with Alexa again and also with Simon. And Michelle's getting a little frustrated, and she's like, what's the point of this dumb stuff anyway? And Alexa, it's one of the most real words she's ever spoken, is, the point is the test is tomorrow. I mean, that pretty much sums up school in general. Michelle proceeds to talk about how she tried to study at home last night and it didn't work out because her roommates just wouldn't turn down the music. And Simon says, what about your dad's house? And Michelle is like, hey, that could work. My dad has a cooking class, and she says she can go study on like Tuesday nights or whatever when her dad is at cooking class. But she doesn't want to let her dad know that she's having problems where she lives because he'd think that that means that he is right and she's wrong and she can't make it on her own. I feel like I need to clarify that I'm not missing a tooth. It's just kind of like recessed a little bit, so the shadow makes it look like I'm missing a tooth, but I'm not. Okay, now I'm pretty sure it's the end of the school day, and we see Snake and Joey walk out of the school, and they're just chit-chatting about the whole Wheels situation and the accusations against him. And Wheels is just sitting on Joey's car waiting for Joey to get out so he can drive him home, which is Joey's house. Joey and Wheels get into the car, and Joey's like, Wheels, how can you always afford to play video games? And Wheels is like, I have some money saved. And then Wheels is like, wait a second, you think I stole that money still? And Joey's like, well, someone must have. And then so Wheels calls Joey a jerk. So then Joey's like, well, how long are you going to be living with me anyway? And Wheels is like, until I find someplace. And Joey's like, but you're not even looking. And then Wheels is like, but I don't have any money. And Joey just pulls out and they start driving home, still bickering. And it appears they fought the whole way home because as they're walking into Joey's house, they're still fighting. And Wheels is like, my parents were killed, blah, 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 blah. Wheels is eating those dips. Everyone's eating dips on Degrassi High. I want a dip. Actually, Wheels took the last of the dips out of the box. Wheels just has a problem with being perpetually ungrateful. And I don't really know how to fix that for him. Anyway, so Joey's like, look, my parents want you out, so you have to find somewhere else to live. You can stay here till you find somewhere else, but you have to start looking now. And Wheels is like, I'm just gonna leave now. And Joey's like, then give me my watch. Cut to next scene. We see Wheels sitting on a porch. And we hear thunder rolling in the background. Very quickly we realize whose porch this is. This is Snake's porch. And Snake comes out, you know, talking to his mom. And he comes out to Wheels and he says, my parents say you can't stay here. And Wheels is really mad and he's like, I thought I had friends. And he turns around and leaves. And this porch looks like Heather and Erica's back porch. When they have their party, you know, where Wheels and Heather make out, it looks like the same porch. I'm kind of confused. There's even like a couch under the window right there. Anyway, Snake is like, why don't you go to your grandmother's? And Wheels is like, no way. And he walks off, and you hear more thunder rolling. Now we're back with Michelle. She finds the key under her dad's mat, the key to her dad's house, and lets herself in. And is very excited to be in a big, empty, quiet space. If you'll recall, she is here to study while her dad is away at cooking class. She starts walking up the stairs, and out comes Michelle's dad in a towel. Eek! And he's like, what are you doing here? I thought you were a burglar. And Michelle's like, I thought you weren't home. And he's like, my cooking class ended last week. And so Michelle has to come clean and say, I just needed a place to study. And you can tell Mr. Asset is real happy that Michelle needed to come back. Now we're back with Wheels, and he's running around alone in the rain on the city streets. I guess we were just seeing him for a minute to see what he's up to, and now we're back with Michelle again, and she is studying. And her dad brings her a little snack, and she's like, thanks. And he's like, can I help you study? And she says no. And he says, how are things at your house? And she's like, they're great, they're fine. And Michelle's dad asks her, why don't you just move back home? And she's like, no, and they get into a little spat. But he comes back in the room to say, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fight with you. I just love you. Okay, now we're back with Wheels. It's still raining. It's nighttime. He's alone in the streets of Toronto. He goes into a phone booth and calls his grandmother. His grandmother answers from her nice, warm, cozy bed. And Derek's like, I just called him Derek. Wheels is like, hi, Grandma. And Grandma Wheels is like, what do you want, Derek? And Wheels is like, I need a place to stay. Joey's parents kicked me out. And Grandma Wheels is like, yeah, I know. You've been stealing. And Wheels is like, And Grandma Wheels is like, okay, well, if you come back, you live by my rules. And Wheels is like, sure, whatever. And Grandma Wheels is like, and you'll go to counseling. And Wheels is like, fine. But Grandma Wheels says, Derek, I don't believe you. And hangs up on him. I want to take a minute, though, to talk about Wheels' grandmother and grandfather. I don't know why. I'm just so interested in them, especially Wheels' grandfather, like the people that played them. Like, I want to know where they are, and I mean, I don't know, maybe they're not alive anymore. That was like 30 years ago. But I think I found the man who played Wheels' grandfather. I think he was like a well-known coin collector in the Toronto area. I thought that was really cool. And I can't find anything about Wheels' grandmother, the woman who played Wheels' grandmother. I think her name was Dorothy Phillips. And of course, you can guess how many Dorothy Phillips there are. So I haven't had much luck. But I think I did find Wheels' grandfather, but I think he has passed away. I mean, maybe that's common sense because he looks so old in the 80s. So it's a good thing that Wheels stole all that change from Joey's mom because he has enough to make some more phone calls. And he just starts calling up people and being like, hey man, listen. His mullet is just sopping wet. Okay, so Michelle starts to leave. She's done studying and she starts to leave, and her dad's telling her goodbye, and she's like, listen, about me moving back. And they start talking about it. And Michelle's like, I want it to be more like I'm a tenant. So I want to start making a contract for me possibly moving back. So they sit down and start trying to work it out. Okay, we are back at Snake's house. And he's watching lame TV with his lame parents on the couch. And Wheels tries Snake's house again because apparently he just hasn't come into any luck finding a place to stay. So Snake answers the phone, and of course he's right there with his parents, and he starts pretending that he's taking a survey to communicate with Wheels. Snake's always delightfully awkward. Snake is terribly nervous, but he agrees to meet Wheels on his back porch. Long conversation short, Snake tells Wheels he can sleep on the back porch, but he has to be gone first thing in the morning. Nobody is cutting Wheels any more slack. Oh yeah, and Snake yells at him a little bit and says, like, this is all your fault. Like, This is all happening because of you. Everyone tried to help you and you are still ungrateful. Okay, we're back at Degrassi High and it is still raining. And we see Wheels in the hall. Somehow he has dried off, but he's yawning because it looks like he didn't sleep too good last night. And Joey passes by Wheels and, you know, kind of tries to ignore him, and Wheels starts following behind him and saying like, I called my grandma and I'm gonna go talk to her this afternoon. And Joey's like, whatever. And Will says, I've been doing some thinking and it looks like I've been pretty stupid. And Will says, I'm really sorry. Things are gonna be different from now on. And Joey says, yeah, right. And Wheels is like, I took the money from your mom. And Joey does this epic turnaround thing like, and Will says, I'm gonna make it up to her and I'm gonna pay her back every cent. And Joey's like, I'll believe it when I see it. And Will's is like, oh, you'll see it. And then we freeze frame, and that's the end. So there it was, Home Sweet Home from Degrassi High. Sorry about my natural lighting changes here. It was a very fitting title because we were dealing with Wheels and his home issues and then Michelle and her home issues. And it's very interesting, you know, because Wheels and Michelle don't really interact or know each other or anything like that. And they both are having their own situations regarding a place to live. You know, Michelle's dad was so lonely, he probably could have let Wheels live with him, and they could have both benefited. I think a lot of us have this weird unconditional love for Wheels, even though, like, he's not the best person. It's like we all just automatically forgive him. I don't know why. And I wonder if he ever did pay Joey's mom back. I don't think that's ever revealed. I know it would suck living with your grandparents, especially if they have rules you don't like, but like, Wheels, you got like a year or two left and then you can do whatever you want. Just power through. I hope this was a good watch along. It wasn't a very funny episode, but hopefully this is worth it. Thanks again, Magik 2.0, for your request. I'm also going to be doing Unbelievable from Degrassi Next Generation. I guess it's still Next Generation. Degrassi Next Generation Season 13. And anyone else that has any requests, let me know. I keep meaning to have my husband on here to do this with me and give his thoughts, but he's never home the same time as me. So anyway, see you next time. Bye, broomheads.